They got fig leaves. They realized they were naked and they went and hid themselves. So now when the father comes on the scene and he says, where are you? And he's saying, oh, well, what had happened was, he sinned and he began to hide. Well, that's what happens. Okay. If ye know that he is righteous, ye know that everyone that doeth righteousness is born of him. Okay. So the purpose of adoption, the purpose of redemption, the completed work that was done for you on your behalf should not be taken lightly. And we talked about this last week. Salvation. Salvation in the Old Testament, I also wanted to bring to your attention that it is the word Yahshua. It's the word Yeshua. Okay? And that word meaning saved, meaning deliverance, meaning aid, meaning victory, meaning prosperity. Your deliverance in health, salvation in your health, saving. It's about your welfare. It's the same word that's in the New Testament. It's referred to in the Greek as soteria, and it's deliverance, it's health, it's salvation, it's saving. Okay, this rescue or safety that could be physically or morally or both. Okay, but we got to work it out. This salvation that's been given us, the salvation was free. All it costed you was your commitment to the Father by believing that the Son did die. Okay? And that the Father raised him from the dead. That's all it costed you. But guess what? It's a gift that you're going to have to maintain, that you're going to have to take care of, that you're responsible for the maintenance of. It's just like your car. If you don't, okay, so what? Somebody gave it to you as a gift and put a big ribbon on it. Wonderful. But guess what? If you don't change the oil, if you don't put gas in it, if you don't do all of the things that the manual says that you should do to maintain the health of this car, you won't have one. It won't ride. It won't drive. It won't even start. Okay? So there's no difference with this gift of salvation that's been given to you if you've received it. It's been made available, I should say, to you. And when you received it, the gift was given. It was received. Okay? But you still have to maintain it. Philippians 2:12. I talk about this all the time. Philippians 2:12, the A part of that verse. And then verse 13, it says, that would be the B part of the verse. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is Yahweh which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Well, this goes back to the whole, I am the vine, ye are the branches. Guess what? Without me, you can do nothing. But guess what? It's him that's working in you. It's the Father that's working in you, both to do, to will and to do of his good pleasure. Do the things that please him. You can't do anything that pleases the Father without the Son, the work that the Son did and your acceptance of that gift. You can do nothing without the salvation that's been made available to you, and all of that. The direction has been given you on how to please the Father. For without faith, it's impossible to please him. He that cometh to him must believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. You have to have all of these things in place in order to please the Father. These things are a necessity. If you're in a relationship, you have to know what the person that you're in relationship likes and dislikes in order to be in a satisfied relationship with that person, and vice versa. Okay? So all it's saying here is that work it out. Take the time to be in a relationship. Take the time to maintain this gift that's been given to you. Don't just let it go to pot. Okay? And this work is about your freedom from sin. Well, what's this sin? In the Old Testament, in the New Testament, it's hamartano. Hamartano is the Greek word, and it means to miss the mark. Also meaning to not share in the prize. Well, see, if you miss the mark, you don't get the prize. If you're not at the address that you're having them send the presents or send the gift, and you've moved and picked up all your stuff and moved, and guess what? When the present arrives, when the gift arrives, when the prize arrives, you're not there to receive it. So how can you share in that prize? You cannot. It means to err, especially morally, to sin, for your faults, offenses, sin, trespass, all of that encompasses sin. But this salvation is about your freedom from sin. It's not to be taken lightly. If you know what it is and you understand it, then you're more adequately equipped to receive this thing and to walk in it. Also, restoration back to the garden. Well, what am I talking about this restoration? Restoration in the scripture talked about shalom. It's this to be safe in mind, in mind, in body, or state. To be completed, to causatively make completed, to make amends, okay, to finish, to give again. This restoration is restoring, to do over, to put you back in the place that we were as man before sin entered into the plan, before sin entered into the picture, I should say, before Adam sinned, okay? So this is about our prosperity. This is what true prosperity is, being in real relationship with the Father. Not about greenbacks, because that stuff ain't worth nothing anyway. Man has given a value to that. He says when the dollar is 30 cents. When the dollar is worth this, when the dollar is worth that. But prosperity is not about things. It's not about money. It's about relationship with the Father. And if you have relationship with the Father, then you are prosperous in every sense of the word. You know, I'll give you an example. My husband was driving the other day and went up to the bank. Well, when he went up to the bank, well, we've been buying new tires, or considering buying some new tires for the car. So we went and bought a tire for the car a couple months ago, but we need to replace the tires on the car. He went up to the bank. And there was this tire situation that had happened at the bank. Well, we're really cool with the guard. Some guy had taken this tire across the street, fell off of another truck. And somehow or another, my husband got in the midst of this. I don't even remember how the whole story went down. What I do know is that the security guard originally wanted the tire. But when he saw my husband's truck, he said, "Hey, man, the guy just took a tire across the street. Did you want this tire?" And he's like, "Well, man, I know that you wanted it." So he's giving the security guard, first dibs on it. He's like, "Man, if you want it, I'll put it in my truck and take it to the crib, because I know you're working, so you can't actually take the time to get the tire and put it in your truck, blah, blah, blah." He said, "No, man, you can have the tire. Perfect fit. Brand new tire." Guess where it fell off of? The back of a truck. It was their new tire, the replacement for any tire that falls off the truck, but it was a new tire. And, my husband said, "I had never thought about the Father taking care of me like that." But he's just bad like that. He does it. He takes care of his children. That's prosperity. Prosperity is that this year we don't have to go and search for wood and pack it up in our truck ourselves. He sent us a man that brings the wood to our house, whom, by the way, we don't have to pay, okay? Because he's already being paid to cut the tree down and to transport it. So he just brings the wood. He just brings the wood straight here. He is a tree cutting company. How awesome is that? He just brings the trees right to the house, just cuts them and brings them right to the house. We don't have to search for wood anymore. We don't have to go out and spend gas. That's prosperity. Not having to spend the money. Prosperity is not needing a gas company in the wintertime because your house is fueled by fireplaces and by wood burning stoves. That's prosperity. To even have that kind of knowledge in this day and age when we weren't raised like that is prosperity. People get this thing twisted and they think prosperity is about money. It's about stuff and accumulation of stuff. The Father blesses us. Yes, he gives us the things that we need and even some of the things that we desire. But we're not chasing things. See, when you're in the position of chasing things, you're in sin. And we're going to get back to this because I want to finish this. But when you're in a position where you're chasing things, you're in sin. Because the Father said clearly that he knows what we need before we ask for it. Okay? But that the Gentiles seek after all this stuff. But if we seek the kingdom first, what's supposed to be going on in this kingdom? What's our position? What are we supposed to be doing? How do we be a benefit to the kingdom? Okay? How do we get this gospel out? Knowing our place and doing our part. If we do that, then the Father takes care of everything else. He said, "Take no thought for what you shall eat, what you shall drink, or wherewithal you shall be clothed." And all of that encompasses everything. It encompasses your car. It encompasses your house. It encompasses the food that goes in your mouth, even your spiritual food. Okay? All of that is encompassed. So let's get back to this. Restored relationship with the Father. Again, look at the story in Israel.